Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video is business time, ladies and gentlemen. After a truly glorious title winning weekend and one of the most beautiful Sundays, think about that we've had in a while, we now face almost the impossible task to reset and refocus because European football is back and is back in a very big way. But before we even begin to go down that rabbit hole, I just want to say thank you for all the support recently on the channel. It's been absolutely incredible, and as we stand right now, we are rapidly closing in on 48,000 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. So just in case you are new around here, or if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so and help us help the nation on our way towards 56 frickin' K. And by God, is that glorious to sit here and say. But with YouTube things and all that out the way, let's start going down that rabbit hole then, shall we? And the perfect place to begin that journey is of course the old oppositional preview, and let's start it by having a look at the Slavia Prague side, who is currently undefeated in the league and sitting first. Jinx. But all joking and all that aside, I think the draw maybe painted a picture of this team being a quote-unquote good team to draw, because we sort of missed out on maybe the more bigger names or the more clickbait names like the Ajaxes, the AC Milans, the Man Uniteds, for instance. So if you put Slavia Prague next to those names, you're sitting back saying, hell, we've went ahead and won that draw to get who we actually got. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've got to be brutally honest with you. I've spent whatever amount of days it's been since that draw. Again, I've lost a couple of days at the weekend, I'll be honest with you. But the rest of the time I've spent watching, reading and looking in to the squad. And the one thing that I've got to say to you is, this team isn't it a pushover? They are a very good footballing team, and they're at the peak of their form right now as well, winning games left, right and centre, nearly winning every game that they're playing at the minute. And that for me is always dangerous when a team's actually feeling good about themselves. And you've probably heard that footballing cliche that's been said many times. You never come up against a bad side in the latter stages of a European tournament, but honestly that cliche is very true from what I've been able to see, find and read about Slavia Prague. I mean, a perfect example of what we're coming up against tomorrow is probably one you've seen now and you've heard, but this team did put out Leicester in the previous round, and if you look at Leicester right now, they're sitting third in the English Premier League, which again isn't the league, to me anyway, that some people hold up to be the best league, the hardest league, blah blah. I'm not quite all the way there. I do think it is a vastly overrated league, but still Leicester sitting third in that league with the amount of teams that's went there and splashed cash on this guy and this guy and this guy. The fact that they're in there shows that they are a good side. But if you look at them playing against Slavia Prague over the two games, the best thing you can say about Prague is they made it look like there was a gap in quality between Leicester and Slavia Prague. And despite all the firepower and all these technical flair players that's doing very well, scoring goals for fun down there in the English Premier League, they didn't manage to get one goal past Slavia Prague over the two games. It was a 0-0 away from home at their park, but then at Leicester's home park at the stadium, where they were bumming them up saying that Leicester was going to do a job that night, Slavia waltzed into there, scored 2 away goals, kept the back door shut and sent Leicester out. And when you really look into those games and you look at their previous games in the Europa League, which also includes a 1-0 win over Bayer Leverkusen, by the way, at Slavia Prague's home stadium, which, to be fair, yes, Bayer Leverkusen did get a red card, and go down to 10 men, but still, you've got to be good enough to take advantage of the opposition having 10 men, and Slavia just went about their business. And honestly, for the first time, and I can't think of how long now, for a European preview, I'm going to sit here and say to you that this isn't a team that dominates the football, that takes loads of risks, that plays with a ridiculous high line that we'll be able to take advantage of, and that will be on all day. We've spoken about that many times in the European stage, but for once, and God knows how long, I can't do that today, because this Slavia Prague team is just different. They can sit a wee bit deeper and they can look to really hurt you and be efficient on the counter-attack. It's almost very similar to what we do in European football, where we can sometimes allow the opposition to have the ball, but when we get it, we usually go for the kill and we usually go forward and we can be devastating on the counter-attack. Well, that is their bread and butter as well, so they're bringing that game plan into this game versus us, who brings a very similar one, and that for me makes this game tomorrow a very interesting matchup. It's almost counter-attack versus counter-attack, people, and if we are going to be the more dominant on the ball, which I do think we will be in this game, we will need to watch out for them, because as soon as they get the ball, this isn't a team that wants to make 10 or 15 passes. They'll take one touch of the football and hit a long ball out to the wing to try and exploit the pace and space, or it's a ball in between the two centre-halves where, again, they're trying to get in behind teams, and that's why they've been punishing teams, and that's why they punished Leicester as well, piling people forward, and they just went after them and took advantage on a counter-attack. And again, they are very committed to keeping the back door shut, so it's going to be a much more defensive game than what we've been accustomed to over the last couple of European games. However, and thankfully there is a however in today's video, by the way, because one of the things that I've noticed about the side from looking into them is if they can't stick to their plan A and what they are very, very good and efficient at, if they can't keep that back door shut, that is when things get very, very interesting, and this team becomes a completely different side. And that's been shown already on the European stage this season, because if you go back and you check their Champions League qualifiers versus FC Midtjylland, yes, the very same Midtjylland that we bet not too long ago, they got a 0-0 where, again, Slavia Prague looked very good and very efficient and very comfortable keeping it back. But in the second leg, despite taking the lead in the game, the second Midtjylland scored against them in the 65th minute, the game completely changed, and FC Midtjylland went ahead and won 4-1, knocking them in to the Europa League. And we mentioned earlier on in today's video, they got that 1-0 win versus Bayer Leverkusen. Well, do you know what happened in the next game? The second game from the group stage, where it was all in the last group's game of it. If Slavia win, they will go top of the old group, people. Well, Bayer Leverkusen ended up thumping them 4-0 because they got that early goal. They took plan A away from Prague, and their plan B, I've just got to be brutally honest with you, just doesn't make sense. It's almost like they're no use to it, because it's not only like the Bayer Leverkusen or the Midtjylland it's bet them. If you get a goal past them, Beer bet them in the Europa League group stage 3-1 with the exact same thing. You take plan A, get a goal, break the deadlock. This side that we face tomorrow just doesn't have a plan B. Because the second you take away their ability to sit back and hit on that counter-attack, which again they are very, very good at, the second that you have to give them the initiative to be positive with the football, pile people forward and try and go after teams, that's when holes start to appear, and that's when mistakes start to happen, because you can quite clearly see they're no use to playing like that. So going into this game tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, I am hoping for an early goal for Rangers, because that should make this ticker a wee bit easier. And with that being said, we're almost done and dusty with the old oppositional preview. The only thing I'll give you is how they actually set up and how they play. Now, they have kind of chopped and changed quite a lot this season, from kind of 3 at the back to 4 at the back, but the one thing that is very consistent with this team is they love to play 5 across the middle, with one player sitting a wee bit deeper, almost funneling in to that centre back spot, and their 2 wingers are always ready to spring forward the second any of them gets the ball, whether it's the defenders or their midfielders. That's usually their go-to ball, so we're going to have to watch that, because I can imagine with the way we like to play and the way we like to play the fullbacks, the wingers that they have will be licking their lips with the space that will be in front of them. So I think that is going to be the key battle in this game. Whoever wins the wing position of the game, I think's going to win the game. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's reached the end of the old oppositional preview. Despite everything I've said so far in today's video, I'm expecting a very, very difficult game, and I think it's going to be an ugly type of game of football, which is quite the opposite of what our previous European games have been so far, because that's what Leicester's problem was, right? They had all the attacking firepower, they had all the flair players, they had all the technical players, but they weren't able to go there and out-battle them and outwork them, and that's why they're not in the competition anymore, and that's why Praga is coming up against us. But I just think this Rangers team, if they're able to roll their sleeves up, sober up, by the way, and also just go out there and battle like the way we know they can, I do think we have a good chance, despite us going away from home with the home record and the fantastic home record that they have. I still fancy us, ladies and gentlemen, but again, we will need to outwork and outrun every single one of them, because this team is very efficient and very, very hard working. Now though, with all that being said, it's time to flip over and talk about the Rangers aspect coming into this game, because if you think about it, right, it's been a brilliant couple of days, but those couple of days and the celebrations and the enjoyment that we've had leaves this team in a very, very unique circumstance coming into this very difficult game. Because just in case somehow you missed it, we are the champions. And I'll repeat that and I'll say it again just for the people all the way in the back. We are the champions. And the fact we are now champions so damn early is very, very strange, people, because this feeling that we've all got right now should be not only celebrated to this moment where we stand in today's video, but it should be all week, all month, for as long as we want to celebrate this incredible achievement, and the players should be able to celebrate that as well. But because we've been so good, because we've been so consistent, we can't do that. We have to flip that switch again, and that switch for me is going to be one of the most interesting things to see coming into this game, because we know on the part, given what we've done in Europe, I mean, we're undefeated, we won our league group, we deserve to be here, and we're good enough on the part. But mentally, are these players able once again to flip that switch and reset and get back to the mindset that got us to where we are right now? And that is the one game at a time mentality. And I definitely think that's going to be a factor coming into this game, or a question that is worth asking about this Rangers team. But I don't know, man. I don't know if I just love the team too much, or I just believe in them too much. But honestly, there's not a part of me that is worrying for 1 second that this Rangers team won't be going into this game with a full concentration and their full focus. And I've had a couple of questions and a couple of comments saying, do you think the celebrations is going to affect the Rangers players coming into this game and we'll not see the best versions of ourselves? But honestly, again, I know I just said it, but there's not one part of me that doubts this Rangers team. And I think the experiences that we've had now and we've shared with these players, even going back to the last season, or the previous season, I should say, where we did celebrate maybe too much after a very fantastic win at Parkhead, and we came away in January, we kind of missing the ball. We didn't have that mindset in the second quarter of the season, was very, very disappointing. These players have learned from every mistake and every bump in the road that they've had so far. This season is a perfect example of that. And I just think, and I don't know, again, maybe me just believing too much in the team, but I just think the Rangers team, again, will answer another question about their mindset and their focus by going out here and being fully at it and putting in another performance that we can all be proud of. Because what we've done so far in European football has been absolutely incredible, and every single one of them deserves respect. But there is a real opportunity and a real chance for us to go one better, which has been the kind of flow under Gerrard in Europe. We've always went one better in every single season, and if that's to happen again this season, we will make it to the last 8 of the Europa League, which is absolutely incredible to all these idiots that talk us down and say we're a pub league team and all that bollocks. Well, we face a team that knocked out a team from the best league in the world. I truly don't think these players will need any other motivation than that to go and set that right and go and get us into the last 8 of a European competition. But speaking of progressing, by the way, our attack has got a lot stronger coming into this game of football, as Steven Gerrard confirmed that your boy Kemar Roofe is not only back in amongst training and performing very well, he's back fit and he's travelled, ladies and gentlemen, and available for selection tomorrow if he is needed. And that for me is massive, because whether he starts or not, having a guy of Kemar Roofe's ability versus the stubborn defence I'm expecting to see from Prague tomorrow, he's already showed that he's got a wee bit of magic in him and he can score out of nothing. And if you are looking to breach your team and get that away goal, having a Kemar Roofe again from the start or being able to come off the bench, for me, is absolutely massive and could be a key factor in making this result tomorrow away from home a very happy one. Next up we have Ryan Jack, who's also back in and amongst it. However, Jacko hasn't travelled with the squad, as Steven Gerrard has made the decision to just be a little bit patient again with Ryan Jack, given how his season's sort of gone so far. He's been clear that he's available if needed, but Steven Gerrard is making the decision just to wait that little bit longer and have Jacko back in for the return leg, which again is very, very smart, because I think being at Ibrox, we are going to have to be a lot more defensive than maybe we are away from home, and having Ryan Jack fully fit and able for that game makes complete and utter sense, despite it hurting me not being able to see Jacko in there tomorrow. The only player that's not back in and amongst training just yet is Tavernier, who has, quote, a little bit time to go. But again, as soon as we hear more about Tavernier's availability, I will let you know down there in the comment section below. Now, you might have noticed that the SFA has obviously done a notice of complaint about the 5 players who broke the COVID rules, and we all expected that to come. But again, that doesn't impact or interfere with this game at all, so I'll speak about that and break that down more in the next league match preview. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The only player that's not available is, of course, Katic, who will be missing for the rest of the old season because of the severity of his injury, Gerrard has decided to just wait it out so he's back and given the best possible chance to get back playing football next season. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's video. It is a European preview. I have tried to keep myself calm and composed and not talk about the fact that we are champions of the country. I've tried my best and I've tried to give you a kind of balanced European preview. So hopefully you've enjoyed it enough to be hitting that like button. But right now, it's time for our predictions. So now with everything being said, what are you expecting to see or what you predict to see in tomorrow's game? And whilst you're hopefully getting involved down there in the comment section below and sharing your opinions and thoughts ahead of this game, I'll give you mine very briefly. Again, I'm expecting a tough encounter, but I do think we will get an away goal because European goals is kind of what we do, and I think that will change the game quite drastically. So I'm actually going to go a wee bit higher than my initial thought because I was thinking a wee cheeky 1-0 to Rangers, but I do think it is going to be a wee bit back and forth. So I do think it is going to be Rangers 2, Slavia Prague 1, and my goal scorers are going to be none other than Ryan Kent. He loves a European away goal, and the man of the moment right now in terms of form, Alfredo frickin' Morelos. And with that being said, that's us done and dusted with today's video. If you got involved down there in the comment section below, I'll be speaking to you very shortly. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've been Siege992. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow after the game. All the best and bye.